This chapter was fun as it kind of showed us a little bit of everybody, and nobody but Robin seems to know where the hell they're going.
258th chapter of One Piece this is. Many Souths there are.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim here to bring you another review on the awesome and the epic and the mind-blowing tale of One Piece. I don't know where that pause came from over there, so I don't know if I was trying to pause for dramatic effect or if I just had like a little mini seizure and I was like, "Arr!" You know, it just froze up for a sec. But either way, let's dive right into it. The last chapter, of course, saw us with, with really some cool explanations going on as far as sky battles, learning a little bit about mantra, those type of things, and then seeing Luffy just cold cock that one heavenly warrior, and of course the end of the chapter was him, kind of coming upon, or Wiper coming upon him, and them just basically being like, it's not going to be good. They're going to clash. So that's how things left off. And the chapter over here, it actually picks up. It's kind of cool. I like this. And just for illustration purposes, I like to see the map, of course, which they do show on here. And if you look at the map, it's kind of funny because they talk about how basically they just need to head to these runes due east, right? And then they go and they show where everybody is. Robin, the only one that's actually even approaching the runes. Chopper's route is all effed up, man. He's going all... Zoro, who's supposedly just going right, has gone like a Candyland, like if you ever played the game Candyland, it's like a whoo, 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 like a back and forth all the way up, and he's way the hell out there. Luffy has no idea where he's going. He's going south, but it's not where he needs to go, I guess. Well, at least he's going south on the map. He's not going south towards the thing. Whatever. Anyway, the point is that this whole chapter really kind of illustrates what's going on with that team, which they refer to as Gold Team. And it starts out in the first several pages as Chopper, and Chopper has wound up being kind of set upon by some of these heavenly warriors, and you can always tell that they're coming because they have this bah, and it reminds me of like, I guess, like a goat or a sheep or something, So anyway, so he's running for his life, and he's, after a couple of pages of that, then all of a sudden he goes and he comes upon some of the Shandians, right? And the Shandians are fighting the heavenly warriors, and he's just like, just trying to get out of there, and that's probably, I don't know, the first 4, 5, 6 pages. Then we get a few pages of Robin, right? And in Robin, she is actually going in the right direction, and she comes upon this kind of buried, almost kind of like reclaimed by the forest, house, hut, what have you, some kind of ruined-looking thing, and she's going, I'm hoping the main city's in better condition than that. And as she goes to investigate it, all of a sudden, one of the heavenly warriors comes down, and it's like, what are you doing? If you pass anywhere, you're already on sacred land, and the god in hell will this and that, and blah, blah, and she's just like, what? What are you even talking about, So he goes and he's like, oh, it doesn't matter what, and he's going to go and he's going to wipe her out with his, his splitting axe dial, right? And before he can even do it, she's just like, "Seis floors." And it seems like, and I don't know what the deal is, because obviously, I took a little bit of Spanish, so every time she goes and says, the first word that she says is obviously the number in Spanish, cinco, seis, how many of her arms she has sprouting from something, or how many of her limbs. And that's cool, and then the floors. But I don't know, like, is she supposed to be Spanish, or is her devil fruit, did she just eat a Spanish devil fruit, one from Mexico or something? I don't know. Because for some reason it just lapses. It's a Japanese comic where this character that supposedly, if she was real, would be portrayed as like Russian, is going and spouting Spanish before she does every one of her moves. I don't know what the deal is, but hey, that's fine. So she goes and sprouts 6 arms from him, and just, basically just, it looks like she snaps his freaking neck. You just see his head turns, you hear crunch, and I'm like, oh yeah, Robin's a barrel. I like her. Anyway, that's okay though. So I'm kind of partial to Nami still, but Robin is definitely growing on me. So I like them tall women. Anyway, so we'll just get off of that subject now. Is it hot in here? Oh, anyway. So then we go in a portion of the chapter is then devoted to Luffy, and in just a couple of pages, it's him and Wiper, and it's really Luffy, of course, has wiped out this other heavenly warrior, and Wiper's just like, I thought I told you not to leave here, not to come here, and Luffy's like, I'll do what the hell I want, man. Me and my crew can go wherever we want to go, And that's what he tells him. And Wiper's like, Wiper goes to say something, and he's like, you know what, it's not even worth it. No, I'm just going to end you, and I'm going to destroy you. And Luffy's like, all right, brother, now you're speaking my language, So Luffy's just he's got the cool look on his face, and he's just about ready to pummel this mother. son of a person. So then we go in the last portion of the chapter, really kind of the bulk of it, I guess you would say, probably 8 pages or so, is really it's Zoro. And we wind up seeing one of the Shandian warriors, and he goes and he's just taken down one of the heavenly warriors, and he's like, oh yeah, that's kind of like that's the last of them in this area. He's like, they're more formidable than I thought, blah blah blah, you know. And then all of a sudden he goes and he looks over and he sees just kind of walking through the grass and, you know, coming out the woods over there. He sees Zoro, you know, and Zoro's going right. You know? So anyway, he's just like, one of the blue sea people that Wiper told us about, you know. So he goes to attack him, and Zoro just freaking, I mean, just flat lays his ass out, blood spurting out of his mouth, dude's down, you know. And then he goes and he sees one of the heavenly warriors or whatever, you know, and he's going, bah, oh, please spare me and this and that. And all of a sudden, like, an explosion kind of comes in, and he blows up, he gets shot, he gets killed, what have you, and you're going, whoa, hold on a second, what's going on here? So then you wind up seeing that it's actually Braham. I believe that's how you pronounce it, B-R-A-H-A-M, Braham, or Braham, but I think it's Braham. Anyway, so he winds up coming in one of Wiper's crew, and he's the guy that's kind of, he's got like the beanie cap on, and he's got it real low, so you can't see. It almost looks like one of the guys from Fat Albert's crew, if anybody ever watched Fat Albert. If you haven't, Google it, maybe watch a little episode. Forget the guy's name, but he's got the hat pulled down real low over his eyes, so he looks like he can't even see, you know. Anyway, so this dude goes and we see that's who took him out, and then he's just like, you know, he's gonna take out Zoro, right? So he's telling him, hey, I'm gonna take you down. And Zoro's like, listen, I don't need any bullshit. I got places to go. I got people to see. You know, just let's not even bother with this right now, right? Well, he goes and he starts flying around on his, because they got those little wings on their back, but then he's also got these cool little, like, I don't know, they almost look like ice skates, but they're kind of like curved. And so almost like something he can do. He does some really cool acrobatic moves with these things. And he's flying around and he's shooting and there's explosions everywhere. And Zoro's trying to dodge and he's, you know, he's got one of his swords out now. And anyway, and it winds up being that this guy Braham, you know, it lands or what have you. And he's just like, oh, okay, well, you're much more difficult than I would have anticipated, Blue Sea guy. More or less saying like, yeah, you know, I thought you were nothing, but, you know, you're actually going to be a formidable opponent. And then Zoro's just like, oh yeah, you know, and I forgive me too. You know, it's kind of like that Warriors creed and motto. I love it, man. He's just like the mutual respect for each other. Zoro's just like, oh yeah, well, I'm sorry I treated you as a small fry too, you know. And then it's kind of like one of those. So we're going to now fight, you know. So that is how the chapter ends, and that's, you know, that's of course how things leave off. And all in all, I thought it was very cool. It's a little quicker than usual, as by my standards, review wise, but it's only because things moved very quickly. It was very action packed, and to tell you the truth, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a lot of content. It just means that a lot of the content just flowed very quickly with the action, the fights, and everything. And you don't need me to describe that he turned to his left shoulder, then looked over this way, and you know what happened as far as that went. But you know that Zoro and this Braham are going to go head to head. And you know that the shame of it is that Luffy and company, they don't really exactly have the same goal as the Shandians, but Luffy's always a guy to kind of help the underdogs and everything else, you know. And to me, it sucks. It's kind of senseless that the Shandians, now two different ones between Luffy and Wiper and then Braham and Zoro, are kind of being paired up against each other, because you know that the Straw Hats, or at least I feel like the Straw Hats are just the superior force. They're going to come out on top. And the Shandians, although I think Wiper is kind of an asswipe with his mentality, I do feel for them, and I really hope that things will get better for them. You know what I mean? I really do hope that there can be some kind of some kind of retribution for the, you know, for their land being taken and everything, and that they can have some semblance of normalcy again at one point. So I guess my chapter question though kind of leads to that. What do you think about some of the Shandian, you know, elite going up against some of the Straw Hats over here? Not that I didn't see it happening or that I'm upset with it. Just wondering what your thoughts are on that, as opposed to everybody kind of, you know, sitting down and saying, hey, hold on a second, we got a common goal over here. We're trying to take down these priests in Enel. Why don't we just, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you know, that type of thing. So, but, you know, let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation.
Maybe it's just me, but now whenever I see Robin, I just always think of dirty jokes involving hand jobs.